Hey there, it's Sarah, aka the Mill Coach, and it's time for your next Epic Shit Challenge. Now, I just want to say I am impressed that you continue to show up and do the work. Whether you've done all the challenges or you've done, 70%, 50%, I don't care what the number is, you're doing the work. And so that is awesome, and you deserve a little round of applause. So, yay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So today we're going to talk more about the design of getting your epic shit done, right? Because it's one thing to know what your strengths are and to have this dream of what it's going to look like when you're using them and making this stuff happen. But it's another entire thing to actually do it, right? To schedule it and do it. So yesterday you did some scheduling, or you did some at least saying, I'm drawing my lines in the sand around what I want. Right? But then when you actually move it to scheduling it in your calendar, right? Breaking it apart into tasks and saying, okay, this is the date that I'm going to do it and the time that I'm going to do it. That's a whole nother deal, right? But I tell you what, I bet there are things on your schedule today that don't need to be there, right? There are things on your schedule today that are there because you didn't have a pair, right? And you know what I'm talking about. You didn't have the balls to say no to somebody who made a request of you. And there's probably a whole host of reasons, right? It could have been your boss. It could have been your dad. It could have been your boyfriend. It could have been your husband. It could have been your kids. It could have been your neighbor. It could have been a hot new potential prospect for business. I mean, whomever it is, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if you've got something on your schedule that you really don't want to do because it doesn't align with who you are and the priorities that matter to you right now, then you've got to get rid of it, right? When people tell me, I just don't have time, when I ask them to do something, I kind of get pissed off. Because you know why? Because they don't have the balls to tell me what they really think, right? What's really important to them. I would much rather have somebody tell me, you know what, thanks for thinking of me, but I'm not going to be able to do that right now because I've got a ton of other priorities that need my attention. Right? I've got some cool stuff cooking and I've got to move forward with it. Right? If somebody just said that instead of, oh man, I just don't have time, whine, let me, play the little violin or whatever, I would just be like, hell yes, finally somebody that has some balls. Right? So I want you to grow some balls today and say no. If there's something on that schedule that you've committed to, go and renegotiate if it isn't something that you really want to do. Say, you know what, I'm not going to be able to do that. I thought that I would, but after analyzing everything, it doesn't fit. So let's go ahead and see if we can figure out a next step, right? So no is one of the big deals. And then there's a couple of other D words that I want you to consider, right? And you probably know what these are too, but it's about using them that really matters, right? Instead of saying, I don't have time, you're going to say, ooh, you know what? I'm going to defer or delegate that to somebody else, right? I recently just hired somebody to do some scheduling of speaking engagements for me. Because yeah, it's a priority. I want to do it, but I have a bunch of other stuff that I need to do personally. And that scheduling piece can easily be done by somebody else. So I'm thrilled to be able to pass that on to somebody else. It's going to be 100% worth every penny that I spend in that area. So maybe you just need to defer or delegate. Say, you know what, somebody else needs this opportunity to learn. So bring a brother or sister up, give them the opportunity, and delegate it, okay? Some of the things on your schedule just need to be deleted because you know what? You put it on there with good intentions thinking it was something that you needed to do, but it really isn't. So go and look at those things that are scheduled and say, does this really need to even be done? Right? There were a bunch of reports that I used to do at my old job, and I don't think anybody ever read them. And so one day I just stopped doing them. And you know what the funny part was? Nobody said shit. Right? I probably could have said, hey, I don't want to do these reports anymore, but I just wanted to see what happened. So maybe you just need to say, no, I'm not going to do this. Delete, delete, delete. And then there are some things on your schedule that you just need to frickin' do. They've been hanging over you, and you know what? It's time to move. And it needs to be the first thing that you schedule. Right? That first thing that you do, tackle the hardest thing and just get it off your plate. You're going to find a lot of beautiful momentum in that, just sucking it up and putting your big girl or boy panties on and just rocking forward. So today is just a reminder to say no to the stuff that you don't want to do. Your relationships will be okay if that person really, really cares about you. Right? If somebody's pissed off because you say no, that's on them. Not on you. especially when you can give them maybe an idea of somebody else that can do it, or some opportunities to say, here's what I can do, but this is the part that I'm not going to do. Maybe do some renegotiating on the actual specifics of the task. That just know that there's a lot of opportunity, but you have to have the courage to actually say something. Right, so you're going to grow a pair, you're going to manage your schedule, and you're only going to do the stuff that is 100% in alignment with who you are and the things that matter most, right? The urgent things, the important things. And then the not so urgent things like planning and preparation and learning and building relationships. Get those in, because that is going to propel you forward. Remember, it goes back to that mind, body, spirit relationships, your 4 core, right? Make sure your stuff is directly supporting your core. All right, so yeah, I'm going to step off my soapbox now, and I'm going to watch you go and bloom and grow a giant, huge pear. All right, we'll see you back here again tomorrow.